Whenever I sit down with other couples, my wife and I, and we are at dinner or at lunch or we're hanging out with them, whatever, the number one topic that everyone always talks about, but no one wants to admit publicly, is they are all deathly afraid of raising kids that are spoiled. And this is everything from friends who they are teachers to super wealthy to immigrants to people who are born in America. I mean, just like across the board. It seems like it is a deep-seated fear of parents where they say to themselves, my child is going to have a different childhood than I had. That's almost every parent's dream, right? Is I want my kid to live a better life than I had, or I want my kid to be happier than I had, or have things that I didn't have, whatever. And there are the extreme examples, right? I'll use a celebrity in Jay-Z, right? And I think he's openly talked about it. He has kids now, and he's like, my kids are living a little bit differently than I did. And that's a good thing. He accomplished that as a parent. But then also that same story is very true, right? I have a lot of friends who are immigrants and they're like, look, like I was literally born in another country and I came here. My kid already just being born in the United States, I feel like they have a leg up and they're going to have this different experience. What can parents do to increase the probability, not guarantee, but increase the probability that their kids don't end up spoiled if they just are having a different childhood? Like, what do you see there from a development standpoint and an environment standpoint?
That's a great question. And I think the way to answer it is to sort of understand what you think your friends mean by spoiled. What do you think they mean by like, I don't want to spoil my kid when they say spoil?
Every single one of them is different, obviously. But if I had to, in the most crude way, outline what they mean, they don't want their kid to be fucked up. Right? Like, and I think what the fear, and again, people just naturally go to the extreme, is you see an actor or an actress's kid, they're, this young kid, and they become a teenager, and next thing you know, you read about them in like TMZ because they're addicted to drugs, or, like the very, very extreme. I don't think that's necessarily they're like, oh my God, I'm so worried that my kid's going to grow up like in the spotlight, because many people aren't public figures or anything. They're more so worried about like, will my kid work hard? Will my kid actually understand the importance of learning? Will they, be ambitious? Like all these things that I think society generally puts value on. How do they make sure that their kid gets those instead it doesn't just become kind of a, shithead kid who's like, oh, my parents will take care of me.
Yeah. So it sounds like, being spoiled. And it's true. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the parents that give their kids anything that they ask for at any time. They don't expect much of them. It's the low sort of expectations to give back to their family or to give back to society. So, I think to prevent that spoiledness is to make sure that they have, those opportunities to contribute to the society, to their family. Because otherwise, when you just give them things, and you have no expectation of them to do anything to give back, I think you can then quickly get to that route that you painted.
So it's almost like setting the expectation setting may be the single most important thing of making sure that the kid understands what those are, and also almost holding them accountable to some degree to try to meet the expectations.
Yeah, holding them accountable, getting them involved in volunteering or just what they do for, chores at home. Sometimes kids grow up with no chores because, you resented doing that as a kid. It's important not to do anything like reactively, like, to be conscious and think about your parenting sort of strategy and your expectations for your kids, not as just as a reaction to what I don't want to do as I had experienced growing up.
I think every parent would be the world's best parent if their kid didn't have to make their bed, right? like that is the bane of many kids' existence. Like, I got to make my bed. And then I guess as a part of that, like, my dad used to say this all to me. He wouldn't say it directly to me, but he would say it in front of me to people. He would always say, my kids don't need another friend. They need a parent. And it sounds very similar to what you're saying in terms of there's expectations. This like authoritative parent, this like almost demanding but supportive
exactly
type thing fits very similar and kind of weaves itself together, where the parent should be the parent. And if you do that with any degree of success, like your kid should be okay.
Yeah, it should be okay. I mean, like you said, it's that balance of having expectations, you being in control at a certain, for certain things. But you're also a warm, supportive listener. You're there for them to hear things out if something's going awry. You're just not, and it's just not being that extreme sort of helicopter. I'm going to control everything you do, because, you have to ask yourself what is driving that anxiety and fear? Is it because, you don't want anything bad to happen to them? Well, you have to prepare them that bad things will happen, right? Bad things can happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Bad people do good things. Bad people do bad things. There's just, as long as they're not like having sort of like you're trying to control their whole world, and, sort of shelter them from every sort of possible thing that could imagine, they're not going to learn the skills to manage it when it does happen, and the world is going to be shattered.
Yeah. It feels scary, I think, to parents to kind of put their kid out in the world for at the same time it's going to happen.
Yes.
Can't slow down time.
Yes.
Hey, you, did you like this video? Great. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.